Hello again and welcome to another Mordian Glory Warhammer 40k battle report. Today we find ourselves battling over the blasted ruins of an Imperial hive. It's going to be Genestealer cult versus Astra Militarum. That's right, the day of ascension is on hand, brothers. We are going to cast down the oppressors. They will soon learn how hard we toil in the dark. We all lift together. Mordian Patriarch Glory will be commanding the Genestealer cult today, and Tom once more will be donning the moniker of Trooper Tom. He's had quite a villain arc, this guy. He's gone from Custodes Tom to Traitor Tom to Votan Tom to Whacker Tom, and now we're on Conrad von Hotzendorf Tom. There we go. So Tom will be commanding the Imperial Guard once again, and I will be commanding the Genestealer cult. Let's take a look at these armies now. And here we have 2,000 points of Genestealer cult, my Brotherhood of Nod themed GSC army. I actually really enjoy playing Genestealer cult, and there was a period in 8th edition when I was almost exclusively a sneaky boy player, but then obviously Genestealer cult went a bit rubbish at the beginning of 9th, so I binned them off and I started playing with my guard again. But now we are back with the Genestealer cult, so I actually really enjoy this army. I'm really excited to play it again. It was a labour of love when I was doing it back in 8th edition, and this will actually be the first time that I will have played with them properly in 9th edition, and the first time that I've used their 9th edition codex. I've done all my homework. I've done my plan, a generation in the making. Now it will be time to actually use these models and rise up and cast down the worshippers of the only two-armed emperor. I mean, clearly, if your emperor's got 4 arms, that's better than 2 arms. Let's take a look at what I've taken today. So, as is tradition, we will start off with the infantry corps. No matter what army I am running, you've got to have that solid base of infantry. And my Genestealer cult was always based around a massive horde of Neophytes. And it's so good to get them out again. Yes, if any of you played Command and Conquer 3, you'll know all the sayings like, rise up, down the oppressors, kill GDI. This was all of the vibes that I was going for with this army. And today I have taken 5 20-man bricks of Neophytes. Now, every single one of these squads has got a cult icon. You can see we've got a cult icon there. We've got one there, one there. Don't worry if it's like an Acolyte model. If it's got a guy with a pointy stick and a symbol on top of it, he will be representing a cult icon in the Neophyte blobs. I like to just mix up. Sometimes I like to have the Acolyte guys in there. Sometimes I like to have the more like senior looking ones. I just like having lots of icons, but I don't like them all looking exactly the same every single time. I like to mix it up a bit. In this first squad, we've got the Daka squad. 4 heavy stubbers. All the 50 cals. Still rocking 40,000 years later in the 40k universe, having a great time. And then we've got 4 grenade launchers in there. Everyone else has got auto guns. We've then got another squad of 20, and they've got 2 manning lasers, 4 grenade launchers, and everyone else has got auto guns. I know that a lot of the upgrades are free, guys, but this is my 8th edition army, so there are a few holdovers. Like, I used to have to pay for weapons, so I didn't give every squad all the free upgrades. So if you notice that I'm missing a manning laser here or a grenade launcher there, don't worry, I am aware, but sometimes when you're rising up and you're having to use improvised weapons, you can't have all the best gear all the time. You've just got to make do with what you've got, man. And also, it wasn't in my collection. We've then got another squad here. This is more of a combination of like a Daka squad and a sort of more punchy squad, but it's got 2 heavy stubbers, 2 seismic cannons, and 4 flamers. Everyone else has got the auto guns. And then we've got 2 basic brick squads. These have just got all auto guns and cult icons all the way. They're just a lot of Daka, a lot of small arms fire. And I'm hoping I'll be able to rise up and shoot a bunch of AK-47 bullets into a bunch of guardsmen. We've then got 3 more troop choices. We have got 3 Acolyte squads, and we've got 1 basic Acolyte squad with no upgrades. They're just going to like pop around and do actions and stuff and get me some secondary points. And then we've got 2 other Acolyte squads, and one of these has got double drill, and one of them has got double rock saw, and the sergeants have both got the bone sword and the lash whips. That is all of my troops. Let's take a look at some of the other bits I've got on my list now. We've then got the fast attack elements, and we've got a unit of 5 Atalan Jackels. They've got a couple of grenade launchers and a demolition charge in there. And then we've also got 2 Achilles Ridgerunners, both with the heavy mine lasers and the Stubbers. If you can't tell, I fucking love Stubbers. If I could include more Stubbers, I had the models, I would be doing quad Stubbers on every single one of these Neophyte lists. When the cult starts rising a bit more and I start getting into these guys a little bit more, if I enjoy today's battle pool, hopefully we'll see them a lot more. I will definitely be chucking in loads and loads of Stubbers. I just love it. I don't know what it is about them. I just love machine guns. So we've got a couple of Stubbers there, got the mining lasers. We've then got the elite section. We've got two 5-man squads of Aberants, got a hypermorph in each one. And then in the heavy support section, we've got the heavy armor. Well, it's heavy by my standards. Judging by what Tom is putting into his Imperial Guard army today, I think the Genestealer Cult Armoured Corps may be somewhat outclassed by the Imperial Armoured Corps, but we'll see. We've gone for clearance incinerators on all of these guys, heavy Stubbers, and demo caches of demo charges, and we've also got the big grindy death wheels on the front, and of course they have got all of the propaganda, the appropriate nod propaganda. We've got Cain lives, rise up, peace through power, and brotherhood, unity, and peace. All of the good, the Brotherhood and Nod slogans there. So that's all of my elites. And now let's take a look at the characters that I've included in the list. We then have the HQ section of the cult. The people that have masterminded this uprising. We'll say masterminded. If it goes horribly wrong, then clearly they didn't put enough effort in. We're going to start off with the big bug himself. Big Daddy, Bug Daddy. Now, I know a lot of you are going to be saying, oh, Patriarchs are terrible, Morning Glory. You shouldn't be taking those in your Genestealer Cult army. They're not meta. It's like, it doesn't matter. Guys, it's a Genestealer Cult army. Okay? You've got to have a Patriarch in Genestealer Cult army. You don't actually have to. You used to have to take one, but now you don't have to. But I'm a stickler. I'm an old beard. And my cult needs to have its Big Daddy there. It's Bug Daddy to oversee how things are going. So this is Cain, boys. This is the mastermind behind the Brotherhood of Nod. And he will be leading my forces today. Now, he's got a Warlord trait. He is going to have Preternatural speed, which means that he always gets to reroll his melee attacks when he's rolling to hit, which is good, because whenever you roll a Patriarch, you inevitably get like 6-7 attacks, and you always roll half of them as ones. Such is the gift of ultimate power. So we're going to try and overrule that now. And he also always gets to fight first, which is great because he's probably going to be like running into combats and like mashing people up. And if the combat manages to carry on, I don't want someone to get the drop on him. I want him to go again and tear them to pieces. So he should be doing pretty well there. I think the main thing is getting the rerolls to hit there. I've then spent a CP for leaders of the cult. And we've gone for 2 more Warlord traits. We've taken Alien Majesty. Ah, your Majesty, my lord, my liege. Alien Majesty on the Primus. That means that his reroll 1's aura, which is pretty much the only reason I'm taking him. I have no idea what his stats are, but the main reason you take him is he gives out reroll 1's to hit auras. That's pretty good. So he will have Alien Majesty, and then his reroll 1 to hit aura now is a 9-inch aura. That's pretty good. And then the last Warlord trait we've gone for is going to go on the Acolyte Iconward. And he is going to have the Hivecult specific one, because I will be running Hivecult today, guys. I'll go over in a moment what all that means. And he will have Hivelord, which means people within range of him, within 6 inches of him, will have exploding 6 to hit with ranged weapons. Oh my. If only I had brought 1,000,000 Stubbers. Oh wait, I did bring 1,000,000 Stubbers. Taka. So getting loads of exploding 6s there. It's not quite 6s to hit auto wound. But we're not playing guard today. We can't have everything. But explosive 6s is still pretty nice. And then the last HQ choice taken is the Jackal Alphus. I love this model. She's always been one of my favourite ones in the cult. The fact she's just like driving around with a big old Barrett 50 cal just makes me very happy. The main reason you take her is she can start doing lots of crossfire shenanigans. And we like crossfire. I've built this army to take advantage of crossfire. I'm going to be shooting you. Yes, I know Genestealer Cult are primarily meant to be a combat army. Screw that. We are a shooting army. Now, the reason we're a shooting army, or the reason I take the shooting army, is because I like to run my Genestealer Cult as Hivecult. Now, 10-second lore behind the Hivecult. Basically, they think that arming all the peasants is not really the right way to go about it. How you meant to overthrow the Imperium, which is one of the greatest industrial military complexes of all time, with a bunch of people with rusty spoons and a prayer. That's not really going to work. So what the Hivecult like to do is infiltrate the military arms of the Imperial Guard and of the Imperium, the local police forces, and they have a big emphasis not on like gathering followers, although they do obviously do that as well as any cult can, but they have a big emphasis on making sure that they have lots and lots of weapons, lots and lots of rifles, and that's kind of the vibe that I'm going with. I definitely feel like, my Brotherhood of Nods sort of style army would be focused on having lots of guns to throw down the oppressors and be able to fight GDI on their own terms and all that kind of stuff. So that's where I've gone for Hivecult. Now, what that does, in case it's not a very common one, so what that does is it means you can fall back and shoot like an Ultramarine, which is pretty good. So, Codex Astartes, eat your heart out. I've got a Hivecult. And then it also means you can do actions, even if you've like advanced or fallen back, and you can still shoot, which is pretty nice. But the main reason I'm taking it is because you do get that Warlord trait, which is nice. The whole Exploding Sixes is pretty big. It's also I've taken it because I've taken 2 psychic powers on my Patriarch. He will know Smite, which he knows for free. He's also going to know Psionic Blast and Synaptic Blast. So all the blasts. He is the Blaster Master. He's going to be blasting the crap out of people. And that's really... And then you've got some like good stratagems for like helping you with shooting and stuff. I'm not bothering with the Hivecult Relic. The last thing to mention is... I have taken 1 relic on the Patriarch. He's pretty loaded out today. He's got a Warlord trait, he's got Shadow Psychic powers, and he's got a Familiar. And I've spent a CP to give his Familiar the Crouchling Relic, which means that he gets to reroll a Psychic test each turn. And if I roll doubles on my Psychic power dice, I roll like obviously if it's a double 1, that's not going to help so much. But if I roll a double and the test is passed, you cannot deny it. Now I don't think you've got any Psychics to deny me with, but I mostly took it for the reroll. For the Psychic test, so he can always be Synaptic Blasting and whatnot. Lots of mortal wounds. Yeah, he's just doing all the mortal wounds, bro. He's doing all the mortal wounds. So that's what we've gone for there. So that is my Genestealer call. I have, obviously it's a bit of a different army. It's lots of infantry. We've got some light armor. There's not a lot of combat in here. The Aberants obviously do most of the heavy lifting if I need to do any combat. But the general vibe behind this army is we're rising up. We've got our guns. We're going to be laying down some ambushes. We're going to be dackering the crap out of the Imperials. And we shall see if my Hivecult training will allow me to overcome the decadent, lazy, and corrupt Imperial military forces. Speaking of which, let's head over to the Imperial Guard now. And here we have the might of the Imperial Guard. Feels wrong again. I don't like facing off against these guys. It's like I'm introducing someone else's army, but it's my army.
And you have to kill it.
It's all right. We're just totally loyal mining workers. No hostilities will be open up here. Bash the fash. All right. What was that? Anyway. All right. So Tom, why don't we start off with your officers and infantry and elites, and then move over to the heavy armor and some of the other support elements. So why don't you take us through what you've got for your HQs?
So the front 2 dudes are Krieg marshals.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. They're there to give orders to my infantry squads because I know how to do that now.
Yes, you're fully trained. You've survived your 15 hours.
Well,
that's how it takes to film a battle report.
It does, yeah. And then the squad behind them, that's my command squad.
Yeah.
And that has the big bullshit banner.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that is it for the squad, I believe.
Yeah, you don't need to take any superior type training because we're taking that somewhere else. And this gives you all your rerolls and all your orders.
Whoa.
Doing a great time. See, that was easy, wasn't it?
Very easy.
Not too bad, see. Behind them, what have we got?
I've got 6 Ogrins because I wanted some big beefy boys, big chunky lads.
Nice.
Good spirit animals.
Good to have a bit of combat against the cult as well, when they start dropping in, need to unleash the big lads and just
try and get them in the centre, get them ripping and tearing.
Exactly.
And then moving on, I've got 8 Cadian infantry squads. 4 of them have heavy bolters as their special weapons / heavy weapon. They also have plasma guns as well with them.
Yeah.
And then moving on to the other 4, they have 4 melter guns and 4 plasma guns.
Yeah.
So they're all chilling. They have all Vox and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So the ones on the left are your like genuine Cadian shock trooper units, and then the ones on the right are just your standard infantry squads with the heavy bolters.
What did they say? It's blocker detachments.
Oh god.
That's what they are. And then moving on, first time I'm using it, it's the Rogal Dawn.
It's the Big Chungus.
Now, is this the Dakar variant of it? Or...
This is the Dakar Dawn, yeah.
Dawn, yes.
So you've got the Oppressor Cannon, which is going to be very oppressive for me to deal with today. It's got a coaxial autocannon, and then it's got all of the Stubbers and the Gatling and the Heavy Bolters. It puts out a lot of shots.
All of the stuff. I was 5 points over, but I've removed armor tracks from this vehicle, so
yes.
Now I'm at a good 2,000 points.
All of the armor tracks are simply paper today. They are not. They're not actually
they have cardboard inside.
The corruption of the Imperial system has meant that the funding that went towards all of the track guards you see on these vehicles actually went somewhere else, into the back pocket of the decadent Imperial officers, and it's actually just paper mache.
Aluminium sheets.
Yeah, exactly.
And then moving on to the Leman Russes, I have one bog standard one.
Yeah.
With a battle cannon and a stubber.
It's battle cannon, lads cannon, heavy bolters, and a storm bolter.
Yeah, because they have. Yeah.
Yes,
that's
it's on the model.
Yes.
You paid for it.
Yes.
I made you pay for it. It's like, I don't want to play Wizardwig. I'm like, you're paying Wizardwig. You're playing Wizardwig, Tom.
And then I have two Gatling Leman Russes in front.
These are the Exterminator autocannons.
That's it, yeah.
Again, so just in case anyone's wondering, Tom didn't ask me any of the rules for pretty much any of the units. He was like, that one looks cool. I'm like, okay, yeah, I've got two of those. Like, wow, I'll put two of those on my list then. What does it do? I was like, if I has a lot of autocannon shots, like, oh, that sounds fun. I was like, you probably want to give him triple heavy bolts. Like, all right, I'll do that then.
This is how I play viewers. I pick things and go, that looks fun.
It started off when he put down the Baneblade, the Rogal Dawn, and 3 Russes. And was like, how much infantry can I get? And I was like, about 3. And he was like, I like infantry though. I was like, yeah, there's a reason I don't turn up to games with a Baneblade, a Dawn, and 4 Russes.
I also wanted to run the heavy bolters in the Cadian squads as mortars, but Mordian wouldn't allow me.
You're not fired indirect. The heavy bolters. But speaking of mortars.
Yes.
Your favourite bit.
I have the mortar pit followed with the commissar who's going to give them take aim and all that good stuff.
Yes.
And that's going to be raining hell.
Bombardment.
Also, I forgot to mention as well, I have the tank commander with the gatekeeper relic.
Yep.
Because it's good.
It's very good.
It's nice.
It's the best. It's the second best relic in the Guard Codex. It's very, very strong. For those I don't know, the gatekeeper is the super battle cannon. It's extra strength, extra AP, more reliable shots. It's very, very good.
It's very good.
That's your 2,000 point list. So you've got 80 infantry, so not as many infantry as I would normally recommend, but you have taken the Ogrins to offset that, and you have also taken an extra piece of very, very heavy armour.
I do feel like I am lacking on infantry, and I don't know whether it's just because your mantra's stuck in my head of...
Well, you've taken a few... So what's really interesting, just analyse it for 30 seconds, what's really interesting is you have taken less infantry and you've taken sort of more firepower instead. And this is a very common thing that I see a lot of Guard players do. It's not a bad thing at all, because going pure firepower means that what this list is essentially designed to do is to play the late game. You accept the fact that you haven't really got enough infantry to sacrifice in the early game, but you sacrifice a few turns 1 and 2, and then in the late game you're going to be like, right, all my guns are coming to bear. I've just absolutely... very few armies can take 3 turns of Guard firepower, and that's when this army should turn it around. We're looking at like a turn 3, turn 4, turn 5. That would be my prediction as a Guard commander looking at this list. It's a good list, though.
As you know, sir, when I see the enemy, I advance it.
Yeah, that's my style, sir. There we go. So that is the Guard list. It's a mortar pit. It's 4 Russes, one of them being a tank commander. It's a Rogal Dawn with the Dakar loadout. It's 4 Cadian squads, 4 infantry squads, the big old Ogrins, the bully Ogrins, and then we've got some officers. There we are, guys.
It's an ugly army. A Guard army.
an army hostile to Genestealer cult life as we know it. And with that said, let's move on to deployment. Here we have the mighty, proud ranks of the Mordians deployed in armoured phalanxes with an infantry platoon holding down the left flank. Infantry to the left, mortar pit and heavy armour in the centre, and a whole another platoon and squadron of Russes holding the right flank. The might of the Imperial Guard on display for all to see. Surely these heretics will not stand in the face of such a display of power. Well, apparently...
These are merely natives.
These rustics are so inept. Apparently, the GSC Army forgot to turn up. We're hiding.
Victory's ours!
Yep, Thomas, I like any good guard commander, Tom has declared victory already. So as you can see, the Genestealer cult are in blip deployment. That means half of our army is going to be in reserve and the other half is going to be on the table in these blips. Of course, I haven't told Tom yet what is going to be down here, but as long as it's 1,000 points on the table and 1,000 points off the table and on the table, we should be okay. So my deployment was very quick and very easy, but we've had we've had one deployment, yes. But what about second deployment? So for those that don't know, the Genestealer cult don't actually have to deploy any of their units. They can just deploy little markers to represent where some of their units are, and then those units are the ones that have to deploy on the board, and the rest of them go in reserve, and they can start ambushing and doing loads of cool Genestealer cult shenanigans. So far, the field of battle is quiet. It's quiet. Too quiet. They come at night mostly. Mostly. There we are. So that is for the battle deployment. Just to quickly go over the terrain map today. All of the L-shaped ruins that you see, so this one and these ones, they are proper big line of sight blocking, obscuring ruins that you can breach through and all that kind of good stuff. And then the ruined buildings with the bases here, they are the equivalent of forest. There are forests in our urban jungle. So you can see through those. They just give you dense cover and light cover for chilling around in there. That is the deployment. That is the terrain. We'll have a quick overview of the mission and secondaries, and then we'll get to turn 1. Mission for today is Abandon Sanctuaries. It is a 5-objective mission. And for secondaries, the Genestealer cult. I'm not very familiar with these ones, but I've taken ones that I think seem reasonable. I've gone for Brood Swarm, which allows me to, as long as I'm outnumbering my opponent in various areas of the board, my deployment zone, the board in general, their deployment zone, and no man's land, I start scoring lots of points. So outnumber the enemy, get points. Seems reasonable. Mm-hmm. We've then also gone for Ambush, which basically is if I kill stuff with crossfire markers, and then from reserve and various other doodads, I get
from reserve or deep strike, isn't it?
Or if you've got like crossfire markers on you, then I get some victory points there. So kill stuff with ambushing, that seems pretty good. Swarm the board, that seems pretty good. And the last one was a bit tricky. I know traditionally a lot of Genestealer cult players, a lot of Genestealer cult players would be like, take behind enemy lines. Where am I gonna go? How? What? It's not possible. Why is it not possible? It's not possible. So I didn't go for behind enemy lines. I didn't go for engage for a similar reason. I thought, you know what? I've got Psychers. Tom doesn't. Let's go for Warp Ritual. I know I've taken my Patriarch to do the warp damage, but I figured that if he's scoring points, he's still doing a good job.
Yeah, he's worth his points if he's scoring points.
Exactly. That's just mathematics. That's just logical. So that is my secondaries. And then Tom, it's like an alien logic.
Yes.
There you go. And then Tom has gone for Inflexible Command.
Yes.
It's an auto 15. You start
Apparently.
You start with 15 victory points. Well done. You've gone for Boots on the Ground. Yep. Less of a happy choice in that one, just because you don't quite have as much infantry as you'd like, but it's still a solid 7 or 8 points for guard. You should get 8 points no matter what on that. If you get more than that,
I'm
pretty
still
good.
learning the army. I still have no clue what half the things do. But, I'm having fun.
And then you've gone for Banners, which was your least happy choice.
Yes.
But you figured you will get at least 5 points on it. And as long as you're able to raise some banners at the end of the game, and you are playing a late game sort of plan, then you might be able to get, a few more banners here and there. Yeah. You're still going to get points on it. And it's still probably better than retrieving data and assassinate, which I could just stop you from doing.
Well, it's one of those where if I hold my home objective, it's 5 points.
Yeah.
If on turn 3 or 4 I get out and plant a couple of banners, then it's an extra couple of points. And at the end of the game, it's an extra few more extra points. So it's like probably about 10 points.
Hopefully get about between 7 and 10. I think it's a solid. I think all of your objectives on average will get you, I think, 10 points. So I think you should be doing all right. And I've no idea how mine are going to do, because I've not really built my list around my secondaries. I've just sort of taken what I've got, and then we'll see if it works.
As you know, I didn't build my list around secondary dogs.
Yeah, I mean, it's really cool. So what's very interesting about this game is that I'm using an army that I'm familiar with, but out of date and not got a super amount of 9th edition experience with. And you're using, it's kind of, you're familiar with the Guard, but you've not got a huge amount of experience with it.
I'm familiar from a distance.
Yeah.
Like if someone was to go, what is it? Las cells overcharging stuff. I'm like,
I think you've just displayed your familiarity right there with that.
And then, Born Soldiers, also wounded on 6s, big bullshit. I know what.
But of course, you take a Born Soldier today. Like
Mortars, I love them.
We always forget to say what Tom's regimental doctrine is. He always takes Born Soldiers because he's learning.
It's simple.
Yeah. So that is mission, that is game plans, that is secondaries. I think the last thing to do is roll that dice and see if I actually have to deploy any models. Or if Tom's going first. There we are. So we'll get some dice together and we're back in a second. So here we have...
Now, Mordian, as the guest, would you like to go first?
He got him first. He got him first. I will roll first. Well done. You totally throw me off there. The tray of destiny is what I was gonna say. Yes, Tom has won the speech off to see who has to roll first. The reason we always try and say, would you like to roll first to the other person, is because whoever rolls first apparently always loses the turn 1 roll off.
And is the guest.
And that's the guest, of course. Now I will be using the Genestealer Cult dice. Now these you might not recognise these. So these aren't the current Genestealer Cult dice. No, they're not. These are the 7th edition ones, where the symbols are on the ones. GW, why though? These are relics. These are dice that have been generations in the making. There we go. So I shall roll first. A mighty 2. It's a 4. Excellent. I don't have to deploy anything. I don't think you wanted me. I think you wanted to go first, did you?
I mean, I don't know what's on the board. I'm walking into an ambush.
You are literally walking an ambush. All right, we will be back once Tom has done his command and movement phase and probably turn 1 of first turn. Upon not sighting the enemy, sir, I advance. That's my style, sir. So Tom he's gone for the aggressive push, which I think is probably a good idea versus Genestealer Cult because...
It's more just trying to open the lines of fire. That's what I'm trying to get up at.
Against what, though?
I'm just trying to...
Against
so
what?
when you move up, at least then I've got, avenues and...
This is true.
Stuff.
This is true. Now, you're pushing forward with your armoured forces in the vanguard. Not a traditional tactic. Guard players watching this going, why aren't his tanks screened? I warned him, viewers. I warned him.
Did you?
I did. I said, are you sure you want to push forward with your tanks? You're like, yeah, I'm opening the lines of fire. I'm like, you're opening the lines to your death. But we'll see. To be fair...
You've got the Rogal Dawn screen.
You've got the Rogal Dawn screen. And to be fair, I don't have a particularly close combat Genestealer Cult army. So it's not actually a bad idea at all. It might seem strange, but I think it's actually a relatively sound tactic. And also don't forget, most of my stuff won't pop or leave me in one go, so it'll just turn around and shoot me in combat and kill me. It's actually cool. It works. And remember, you've got more tanks than infantry, so it all makes sense. It's madness, but there is method behind it. So you have advanced up, not overly aggressively, but you have pushed forward. You have take cover on all of your infantry. You've advanced in certain areas with them. Mm-hmm. The tanks have all just chilled out. They've not really got any orders this turn.
They've got what was the one that you told me where?
Is it reroll ones?
No, the one where they advance.
Oh, full throttle.
That's it, yeah.
You've gone for full throttle and you've used it to get a bit of extra movement here and there.
Just in case I could see anything when you pop out.
That's fair enough. So that is the movement of the Guard. A tentative, but it's gone from aggressive down to tentative as I've continued the narrative. As you've moved forward, you've set up some firing lines, you start to take a commanding position of the board. And finally, some of these bloody natives, these goddamn rustics, have turned up and are going to give you a bit of a fight. But there's not many of them, is there, Tom? There's only a smattering of them. So on this flank, we've got a unit of 20 and a Ridgerunner. The thinking behind this is that I've got some infantry that can fight with Tom's infantry. I don't really want to put my infantry up against his tanks because not a good plan. And then we've got some lasers here that can also duel across the board. What's going to win? One laser buggy boy or a main battle tank? I got a feeling that I might be, and I'm outnumbered as well. God, it feels so bad.
Probably the Boogie boy.
I have to say, it feels so weird being on this side of the board. Like I genuinely feel like a bit of a tabletop freedom fighter right now, because I've got all these like little improvised weapons and everything, and I'm just facing down. Military hardware, man. It's so weird. It's so good. It feels like I'm playing a game of Command & Conquer. I have to say, I've missed this feeling with the Cult, and I honestly feel like it's so cool seeing Cult go up against Guard, because you do feel like the underdog and everything. And then I've deployed my armored core. My armor, sir, to take on your armor.
Yes, sir. It's really good.
We'll see how it goes. So that is that's my deployment. You have done your movement and your command. Yep. You've put take aim on the mortars. You have done take cover on the infantry. You have done full throttle on the vehicles.
I've raised the banner with the Ogrins.
You've raised the banner with the Ogrins. Now switch to your shooting phase. Now, I don't believe there's a huge amount, but Tom, check your firing angles and then come back to see if you've got any shots. Bombardment! The mortars opening up, and Tom has decided to go for my Neophytes down here. That was a very clever move by him, because if he had gone for the bikes and the other units holding the objective, the mortars aren't very good at dealing with vehicles, and also the bikes would be innately -1, so you would be having a very, very bad time. But going after the infantry means you will be getting maximum shots, sir. You will be hitting, you're not going over this bit of dense or this bit of dense, so you're hitting on 4s.
Maximum shots.
Hog. Yep, blast is kicking in, so Tom will get 18 shots with his mortars. He will be hitting, he spent a CP for ingrained precision. And so you'll be getting auto wounds on 5s and 6s, but no rerolls. Off you go. Alright, so we'll let you pick those out. We're back in a second. So after Tom had rolled his hits, and we basically didn't need to film the roll to wounds, because he just rolled an obscene number of 5s and 6s. The Tabletop Tactics toxic dice coming in strong again. So I have in total 13 saves to make. Now, I would be on a 5+ save, but I would be on a 4+ save, but then take aim, so I'm back to a 5+. Remember, children, these symbols are deaths.
Marked for death.
So I did not do very well, so I lost 11 guys. So that was you've had your fun with the blast now. You're back now having to roll it. So 11 of my guys have died. 11 have died. So there is 9 left in the squad. So do you want to roll 3d6 for your next unit? So they become 3 each, because I've still got...
So 3, 6.
So 12.
12.
We'll get these dice together. Here we are. Doing it live. 12 dice.
Now these guys don't get ingrained precision.
No.
So it's 6s.
Just the one, sir. Okay, and then you have to actually roll to wound, because there's not that many. We'll let you roll to wound live on camera. Oh, 3s to wound, though.
3s to wound, yeah.
So that's 5 more.
Yes, that is 5 more wounds, so...
Oh, I've done a bit better there. So only 2 died, so I've got 7 left. Will I get to regrow some?
And then the next one's there. Oh, God,
oh,
sorry.
Cheating! He's doing it again!
Here we go.
So that becomes 3. That becomes 11.
11, yeah.
Because again, blast is still in effect, because I've still got more than 5 in the squad, because there's 7 of them. It's a lot of auto wounds.
Spike and a half.
It's a bit spicy. So 3 misses. And then you've got... so that's 7 in total, I believe. 1 for every man in the unit. Here we go. Rah! And I have saved 2 of them. So there are, in fact, 2 of my guys left in that unit. Very nice. Not too bad. 2 left, so we'll remove those casualties. And I think the only other bit of shooting you have is the Rogal Dawn firing across the dents into the little bottom of my Goliath. I couldn't hide that, so that's absolutely legit. So we'll be back with that bit of shooting, and then that'll be your turn. Yeah. Not too shabby at all. All right, we're back in just a moment. So we've checked the ranges. Tom is in range with the Oppressor Cannon and the Coaxial Autocannon. Off you go. D6 plus 3 shots. That's a total of 5 shots. You will be hitting on 4s. You have hit, you don't get to roll, you hit 4 times. So you'll be wounding on 3s. Just 2 wounds. Now...
I'm going to CP 1, because why not?
Okay. Excellent. So that will be 3 wounds. Now, I need to double check the AP of the weapon and also my armor save. So we'll be back in just a second. So it is AP -3, and I have a 3+ save, so I will be saving on 6s. I've saved 1. And I've saved 1. So that 2 will go through. That would be 8 damage, but because of my rugged construction, yep, that's right. I've slapped a bit of corrugated iron on the side. We're having a great time. The damage is reduced by 1, which means it's only 6 damage.
Learn from the orcs.
Learn from the orcs, indeed. So for mine's always on. I'm better at welding than they are. You've then got your autocannon, sir. So that's 2 shots hitting on 4s. No, nothing. So that is it. So I will have 4 wounds left on my little vehicle there. Not too bad. And I believe that will be the end of your turn, good sir, kind sir. All right, so that is the end of your turn. Now, have you scored any of your points? Because we have been asked by the people in the comment section if we could keep track of the score as we go along.
Not currently, because I don't score boots in the first turn. I don't score...
You're getting flexible.
Oh, do I get a flex? Is that 3?
You'll get 3 because you didn't quite destroy this unit. I'm going to spend 2 CP to auto pass that, by the way, guys. Okay. So you'll get 3 from flexible because all of your infantry are within range of officers and voxcasters and good stuff. And then...
Banners I'll score next turn.
Banners you'll score next turn. And the primary obviously don't score this time. And the second part of the primary, or the tertiary, is all to do with the middle of the centre. And we haven't got that either. So you have ended your first turn with 3 victory points. Are you happy, comment section? Are you happy now? We're being more professional.
It is to be fair, though.
It's good battle report etiquette.
Start, editing them a bit more and getting the facilities to do so. We will be adding in all these cool little...
Yes, indubitably.
Yes.
But you're...
Yeah, Genestealer... Turn 1.
Excellent. So, beginning of the Genestealer cult turn, we regrew 5 of the Neophytes. We summoned the cult back, bringing that squad back up to a 7-man unit, and then we spent a CP in our movement phase, and they returned to the shadows, which meant that I have not only undone much of the damage that Tom did to me, but I've actually protected them against the mortar barrage in the future. So that's it. We're pulling our shenanigans out already. We're pulling the shenanigans out. We've also then moved over the Ridgerunners here. We have combined our forces, and we are going to be trying to do some damage to that Rogal Dawn. It's a tough beast, but Tom doesn't have any way of repairing it, and we need to start making work on it sooner rather than later. We cannot let his tanks march around the board with impunity. So we're going to go for some shooting there. And then we've also... We've left the bikes where they are. They don't really have anything to do. They're just going to hold that objective and be really annoying for Tom to deal with. And then we spent a CP for Devoted Crew over here so that this thing acts on top profile. It has moved forward. It has advanced. It got a big advance. It was able to get itself protected behind that building. And then this vehicle also moved and advanced and did pretty well. So we're sort of moving forward with threatening objectives. And then this vehicle, it didn't move. This Rockgrinder didn't move. It didn't advance, it did move, and it is within 15-inch range, which is interesting, the range of a clearance incinerator. It's not a 12-inch range, it's 15-inch range. And it will be trying to flame that vehicle. Not the best target, but pretty much the only target we've got, because I'm not quite in range of that infantry squad over there. I remember clearance incinerators, I think back in the day, used to be assault weapons, so you could move, advance, and still shoot them. Sadly, they are now heavy weapons, which makes me the big sad. I'm sure there's probably a Hivecult trait, or I should say a GeneSec trait, that allows me to move and shoot and not to worry about things, but sadly, we cannot do any of that. Now, one thing I might do, is going to declare this now, Tom, and I'll check it later, is I may not return those to the shadows if I can do a shoot and scoot with that unit. But I will check, and we'll wrap it up at the end of the turn, and we can do it. Do it there, because if I get to pick between this living and 7 bloody cannon fodders living, I'll definitely go for this living instead. All right, but that was my movement and my command phase. Now it is time on to the psychic phase. That's done. Now it's on to the shooting phase. Now my shooting is actually relatively simple. I'm going to fire this guy first, and he is going to put his stubbers into the infantry and his big gun into the Rogal Dawn. And then, provided he gets a hit, I will probably go for overcharged. It's not called overcharged last cells. It's called like overcharged fuel cells. And this is an industrial weapon. It will get +1 strength. So suddenly I'll be wounding your Dawn on 3s again, which is pretty helpful. So firstly, let's go for the laser into the Rogal Dawn. This is the non-overcharged version. 3 shots. Bruh. Okay, now I think we're only hitting on 4s. Okay. We've not got crossfire on yet. We have got 2 hits. God, I wish I was God. Now, whether I hit on 3s or not doesn't matter, because obviously I got 2 6s there. Now, wounding on 4s. So I've got a wound. Now, it says AP -3, which means you will be on a 5-up save. You have saved it, but that's okay, because you have got a crossfire mark. We'll get one of those, and we'll put that on you in a second. And then we've got 2 stubbers. 2 stubbers. Now, we're going to put these against your infantry squad. That's pretty good.
The one in the front, yeah.
The one in the front, that's 5 hits. That's exactly what I needed. Because guess what? Now they've got a crossfire token as well. And we've got 3 wounds on you. Now you have taken cover, so you will be on a 4-up save here. We have killed 2 of you, and your guys don't regrow, and you're not Krieg today, so they actually die. Yes. So we'll get those crossfire tokens out, and we'll be back in just a second. Okay, so with those crossfire tokens on, we're going to fire the next Ridgerunner now. I have spent a CP for overcharged fuel cells, which means my mining laser is the mighty Strength 10.
Nice.
But I have to roll the number of shots.
You do.
Now, inevitably, I'm going to call this now. This is where I roll the 1.
Yes.
There you go. Now, I knew that was what was going to happen. Remember, guys, the symbols are bad. Now, do I hit with that 1 shot? No. So that's it. That was a waste of a CP. Very good. And then we've got the what do you call it? The heavy stubbers. They've done better. 5 of those have hit.
Oh god.
I mean, this is the way. And then we have got 2 more wounds on you. 2 more wounds. Saved. So sadly, not very much damage from the lasers. Oh god! So, bloody hell!
I'm gonna roll a 1.
I knew I was gonna roll it. I just knew it was I could feel it in my bones. So we've then got the clearance incinerator going into the Lehman Russ. 2d6 shots. That's not too bad. 9. There we go. And now these are automatically going to hit you, but they will be wounding you on 5s. 1, 2, 3 saves against you there. And you will be... It's AP 1, so you'll be on a 3-up save. No, you're fine. So just tickled the hole there. I do have some other... I get a stubber.
No, what I'm saying is, is it more than 1 damage?
No, but you haven't paid for armor tracks.
No. What I'm saying is, because if you score...
Oh, yeah, crossfire, but I think that goes... I think I'd have to do it at the beginning of each turn, you see, so... We'll have a look, but the stubber doesn't do anything. But yeah, no, that's everything I've done there. So that is my shooting. I've killed 2 guardsmen. 3 guardsmen? 2 guardsmen.
2 guardsmen.
2 guardsmen. It's a good start. So, like we said, we'll check the shoot and scoot here. If that's a thing, I'll shoot and scoot with that. If it's not, we'll say exactly where we are. And these guys will stay off the board. All right, that was a quick Genestealer turn. Back over to guard. Turn 2. I think Tom might have taken it to heart when I said he was advancing tentatively last turn. Because Daddy's gone mad, hasn't he? Because Tom decided, you know what? Upon sighting the enemy, I advance, sir. That's my style, sir. And he has pushed forward very aggressively with his tank forces leading the way. Again, I mean, guys, I said to Tom, you probably want to screen your tanks. He was like, screen with the tanks. And I was like, no, screen, the tanks. Now put it all together. Charge forward with the tanks. So he went for full throttle on most of his armor that could receive the order, and he just went hell for leather. He's like, you know what, we're gonna charge these guys down. We're gonna put pressure on them. We're gonna be aggressive. Now there is method in the madness. Tom is obviously thinking that if he can pick up these vehicles here, then that will reduce a lot of my own armor capabilities, which is pretty clever thinking. Also limits where I can deep strike in. You know, naturally now I am looking at, you know, being zoned out of a lot of the board. So, you know, there is method. There's method in the madness. It's all makes sense. But we shall see if it pays off. Or either it's going to be a very aggressive gambit, which will force Genestealer to play on the guard's terms, or it will be a overconfident push into the heart of the ambush.
I'm stress testing.
We'll have to find out. That is your... So the most of the infantry received, was it move or...
Take cover.
So most of the infantry received take cover, and the vehicles, generally speaking, those that could receive orders, received move. I should say full throttle, which is these 2, and then these 3 Could not quite do it. All right, so that is your movement phase. That is your command phase.
Just to inform you guys as well, Tim scored 1 point for
Brood Swarm.
Brood Swarm.
Yep, I had more people in my deployment zone than you did. I think Tom also was like, can't have him getting that point. Can't have him getting that point. And also, we couldn't do the shoot and scoot because it was 2 CP. We checked. It does exist. But sadly, I thought it was 1 and I'd spunked all my CP, so there we go. So we're going to go over to the guard shooting phase. Now, what we're going to do, guys, is we'll probably do the big guns on camera, and then any sort of mortars or small arms we'll do off camera, and we'll see where we get up to there. All right, that is the very aggressive guard movement and command phase over. Now it's time for the shooting phase. We have the Lehman Russ Exterminator, the behemoth, the iron spine of the Imperial Guard.
No.
The Lehman Russ. Backbone of the Guard.
The Russ of Lemons.
And it is facing off against one angry, trucky, spinny boy. All right, let's go, Tom. You are firing your autocannon at me, sir. You have 6 shots from the main gun. I feel like you picked up a lot more than 6 dice there.
No,
Hit on 3s?
Hit on 3s.
Okay, 1 auto wound. And 3 regular wounds. You'll be wounding on 3s. That's 3 wounds in total.
3 wounds.
AP -2 means I have a 5-up save. Nope, that is 3 damage. Would be 6, but because of my reducing damage capabilities, it is 3 damage. 3 damage, sir. You may now continue. You have 3 heavy bolters. These are hitting on, these are 3 shots each, and these are hitting on 4s. This is where I, my warning of being overly aggressive is, now these are AP -1. These are wounding on 5, sorry.
So 1 more wound.
1 more wound. And I have passed it. Oh, God!
I've made a serious...
Let's carry on.
The commander is going to go next.
The commander. Now, he might do a lot better. He might. Okay, so he will be hitting me on 3s. He gets D6. He gets 6 plus D3 shots from his main turret. So he gets 7 shots. Now, he's hitting on 3s, winning on 3s. Okay, you've got 1 auto wound in there. And then these winning on 3s. That's not too bad.
Nice.
So how many?
Wounds.
5?
5 wounds, sir.
I passed none of them, which actually I think will destroy the vehicle because
3 wounds already. So.
Yeah, because it's 3 damage each, Gatekeeper. So it's still 10 damage. Do I explode? I do not. There are 5 guys inside.
It really annoys me that the markers on the one.
So 1 guy will die, but the rest of them will be fine. So I'll get those guys out. I'll remove the truck, and we're back in just a second. Tom is going with his Exterminator next, and he's putting it into the 4 wound truck. Off you go, good sir, kind sir. So that is 1 auto wound, 1 miss. Then you're wounding me on 3s. Has 2 wounds at AP2, 2 5-up saves. Make 1 fail 1, that is 1 damage. It's still got 3 wounds left, that truck.
Heavy bolt.
I'm hitting on 4s. 1 auto wound, 2 misses. That's doing a bit better. Showing promise, showing willing. These are 5s though. So that is 3 wounds. These are 3 4-ups. Ooh. I needed one of those to go off. Now, I either CP re-roll it, or I... Explosion! Auto-explode.
I have made a serious...
I am going to spend my CP, and I am going to auto-explode! Because I have a cache of demolition charges in here. And it is a 6-inch range, so it will affect that. It might even affect him, we'll check, but it affect that. So we'll... do you want to just measure for me, Tom? This guy was he was very much up against the wall there, so just check if he was in.
Yeah, 1 second.
If he's within 6 to the edge of the wall there. It might not be. No, not within. So it's just these 2 Russes and my own vehicle. So I shall roll for your battle cannon Russ. 2 wounds. I roll for your exterminator Russ. 3 wounds. I shall roll for my own vehicle. 2 wounds. There we go. So that's more than worth it. Auto explosion. There we go, guys. Can't go wrong with the old Genestealer cult tank. And I've obviously taken... I've taken 2 here as well. Now there are 5 guys. Oh bloody hell! It's falling apart. Now I've got 5 guys inside that vehicle right there. None of them have died. That's pretty good. So we'll jump those guys out, and we shall be back in just a moment with your last tank, I believe, sir.
Yes, and then my Rogel.
And then your Rogel, yes. So we jumped out with our Acolytes there. We've now got the last tank here. Where are you going to go? You're going to try and blow up that last vehicle. The battle cannon's actually pretty good at doing it because it's got the flat damage 3.
How many wins has it got left?
It's got 8 left, I believe. At least 8 would be my answer.
I will then. Yes, I'll shoot the battle cannon.
Number of shots, D6 plus 3. It's 6 shots. Hitting on 3s.
Tempted to go for ingrained precision on it, but I'm not too sure yet. I'm gonna chill.
Go chill. Just chilling.
Hit on freeze.
It's pretty good, but no auto wounds. How many dice did you roll then? 6?
6. Yes.
Yeah, 6. Very good. Very good. Carry on. 3s again.
Bloody hell.
That's there you go. Yeah, it's 2 fails. So 4 saves from me. Past 3 of them, so I just take 2 damage. So I've got 6 wounds left. You got a laser cannon hitting on a 4. Yes. Laser cannon winning on a 3. Yes. Save. No damage. Becomes 5. So I've still got a wound left.
That's
Whoa. That's why I like laser cannons on them.
And then the
2 heavy bolters, so 6 shots. I feel like you've rolled 1 too many dice.
Okay. Sorry, I'll roll that again, viewers.
3 hits. 1 wound, which I pass.
And then does he have a storm?
He does have a storm bolter. You'll have 4 shots from this storm bolter. No hits whatsoever. Standard. Nice. So he goes from having taken 2 wounds to having 1 wound left. That's not a 6, guys. Remember. All right, so you now have the dawn. Do you know where you're going with the dawn? Is it always darkest before the dawn?
I do have the dawn. I do have the daddy dawn.
Daddy dawn pants.
Daddy dawn. I'm just trying to think.
Dawn's gone mad.
Do I have anything that can just plink off 1 wound on that guy? I mean,
you have mortars.
I also have that. I can't see.
Can't see.
What's the crappiest gun on the dawn?
Oh, you've got 36-inch range of like all your stubbers and everything.
Yeah.
So you could be like, I declare all shite shots over here and the big cannon somewhere else.
That's what I'm thinking.
Where do you want to put all shite shots here? Where do you want your big cannon? Just a fucking...
Just in one of those.
One of those Ridgerunners. Okay.
Runners.
So we'll shoot all the shite guns first. So can you check if you're within 24-inch range of my... are you just spending great precision on this guy, by the way?
I might.
You're not within 24, so you won't get your castigated Gatling cannon, but you will get 3 stubbers and 2 heavy bolters.
Okay. Do you know what? It's the last...
No, he's holding off. He's not using precision on Daddy Dawn,
So what's the stubbers? It's
3, so 9 shots in total.
9 shots.
You're hitting on 5 because you're going to the dents. You got 1, 2, 3 hits. Get rid of all those. One of those is an auto wound, sir. 1 wound. I pass. You then got 2 heavy bolters. That's 6 shots hitting on 5s.
Nice.
2, yep, and then wounding on 5s. Here's 1. Damn you, 6. I mean 1. Explosion. No, thank God that was a...
Oh, mate, I look at that. I hate that. Bloody da- Because every time I look at it, I'm like, yes, a 6.
2 of my guys have decided to fall over getting out. So that is my guys getting out there. So you did manage to destroy it with the little stuff. Then you've got the oppressor cannon and the auto cannon going here. So oppressor cannon D6 plus 3. So that's 6 shots. You'll be hitting me on 3s. Ooh, 3 misses. No auto wounds. Wounding on 3s.
Ooh. Got 1 wound.
Ooh, it will go straight through because I got the flare launcher. I have a 6 of invulnerable save. No. So that's 4 damage.
4 damage, yeah.
And the autocannon, 2 hits, 2 wounds.
Wow.
Where was that the other way around?
Wow,
I failed both those saves. I need to check if I've got rugged construction. If I do, I am probably alive. If I don't, I am probably dead. So we'll be back in just a moment, and we'll be back once we've moved the casualties. And we'll be back once you've done all your little piddly shots.
yes.
Back in a moment. So the only small arms that were able to shoot and get any range or line of sight, or should I say indirect line of sight, were the mortars. And Tom rained absolute hell down on the 5 cheeky little acolytes here. It did take 2 squads to finish them off.
But the second squad that I rolled 17 shots.
Yeah.
Tim was just like,
but then you did do another big load of shots into the Aberrants, and then I just made all my saves.
Yeah.
Which is pretty nice. Yeah. So that was your turn 2. That was a big turn 2. But I now get to do my turn 2.
Yes.
And I'm hoping.
Yes.
I'm going to do quite a lot of damage here.
Yes.
My plan is to kill a lot of your armor and your infantry.
Yes.
Let's see if I can do it. We'll be back in Genestealer Cult. Second deployment phase.
Second deployment.
Turn 2. An ambush. Generations in the making, people. I have decided to do a Tom, and I have gone all in. Normally, I am more reserved. I will have a turn 2, a turn 3. I'll start returning to the shadows. A turn 4, a turn 5 ambush. Nah. We've gone all in, people. We have gone all in. I've come down with 20 Neophytes here with the Jackal Alphus. She has used her ability to expose that unit there. We're going to try and dagger the crap out of them. We've then also got a unit of guys with swords. They've dropped in here, and they're going to try and charge the Leman Russ with the support of the Aberrants here. We've then got the Aberrants that are over here, and we've gone moved out with the Leman Russ that are here. The Aberrants have moved forward. We're going to try and get some charges. The bikes have come around. They're going to throw the demolition charge. They're going to chuck some grenades. They're going to have a great time. Little buggies moved around here to try and get some shots off over this way as well. And then the big, old, infinite respawning neophyte blobs have come down here. They're all in range of the Patriarch. They're all in range of the Primus and the Acolyte Iconward. We're having a great time. We've then also managed to get a sneaky unit in here. The little 7-man squad has managed to drop in here, stay 6 inches away from multiple units, and I can't charge a turn, but I certainly can dagger up some of these mortars. These damned mortars, sir! Damn them, sir. Damn their eyes. Blast their eyes. All right. So that is the Genestealer Cult command and the Genestealer Cult movement phase. Now it is actually on to the psychic phase. I am going to do as many psychic wounds as I possibly can do to these Leman Russes. We're going to do some synaptic blasting. We're going to do some psychic blasting. We'll get our dice together and we're back in just a moment. So we're going to start off with a psionic blast, and we are going to do it into this Leman. We're going to go for this Leman Russ, actually. We're going for the one behind. Now, that has gone off. Now, that is because it has defeated your leadership value. That is a straight up 3 mortal wounds, sir. Okay. You have taken 5 mortal wounds on that Leman Russ. That's pretty good. And then we're going to go for the synaptic blast, which is the Hivecult one, and I'm going to do that on this Leman Russ here. It has to be the nearest unit. I have failed. I shall use my crouchling. And I have passed, but I have not beaten your leadership value, which means that it is just D3 mortal wounds for 2 mortal wounds. So that will be both of you must have taken 5 mortal wounds. But yeah, so this one has to be the nearest. So we've taken 5. So they are on 8 wounds apiece, sir. That is my psychic phase. Now we shall go into the shooting. So off camera, we just did the sniper lady shooting her rifle into the Leman Russ here. She got a hit. She don't get a wound, but that does not matter because now that unit has got a crossfire token on it, which is very, very nice. It has hit with a weapon that does more than 1 damage, which is pretty tasty. This now means that I can shoot with my Jackal bikers here. Now, because they are shooting at this Leman Russ and from their unit, they can draw a line across, touch the Leman Russ, and get to the unit over there. I believe this Leman Russ counts as being exposed, which is pretty fucking gnarly. So what we're going to... Now, correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, guys. I have triple checked it, but of course, FAQs and everything, I could easily have missed something, but let me know. But what that means is I am going to now throw my demo charge over here, shoot my grenade launcher over here, shoot my shotguns over here, and I will be hitting on 3s. I'll be hitting on 3s and with +1 to wound as well. I've spent a CP for primed explosive for my demolition charge, which means that I get maximum shots from it rather than the usual D6. So we have hit you with 5 times. We are then going to be wounding you, now wounding you on 3s. That is, it didn't even matter being exposed there, but that is 4 wounds on your Leman Russ. Roll your saves and I will find out. It's big damage. Now, definitely 3 of those have gone through. Definitely, it's not AP -1 on a demo charge. We'll double check, we'll do it live. This book is very poorly laid out. Ranged weapons, 1 minute, we're going to go over to here. Demo. AP -3, and it is 2 damage each. So you have taken 6 damage. You have got 2 wounds left, sir. 2 wounds, sir. All right, we are now going to go for the DOS grenade launcher. We have unhit. We are now going to go for a wound. We have failed to wound you. We then have got 2 shotguns. 1 hit. And no wounds. Okay, so that's, to be fair, I'm kind of happy with how that little squad ended up performing. Okay. In fact, we're going to try and finish you off with the laser man. He's going to put everything he's got into this Leman Russ there. He's going to fire his big gun. Just the 1 shot. He's going to fire his big gun. He has got the hit. He's going to fire the gun. He's not got the wound. No. Okay, we've got the stubbers. Okay. God, I wish I was guard right now. These auto wounds would be being very nice. But we have done a wound to you, sir. You will get a 2-up save against this, though. Oh! 1 wound left, sir. Interesting. Well, I think it would be remiss of me not to fire 5 pistols into you, then. Very remiss of me. Good, sir. Harumph, I say. I will also, I believe, still be exposing the crap out of you because of going across the barrel and the Neophyte squad there. You are exposed, sir. That is 5 hits. 4 hits even. I'm just lying out of my bottom. That is 3 wounds. This will be 3 2-up saves. He's used them. Okay, so that's all of the little bits there. What I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to do a little bit more shooting off camera, and we will be back with the final result, because a lot of my shots are little bits here and there, so we've sort of shown off a little of what we can do, a little bits, and we'll be back with when the dust has settled from the ambush. The cacophony of autogun, heavy stubber, and grenade launcher fire finally comes to an end. The carpet is littered with spent shell casings and ejected magazines, and the guard line has taken some serious punishment, but it still holds. The 2 Leman Russes were destroyed in the shooting phase. In fact, both of these being brought down by autoguns, just forcing so many shots onto them. And Tom took 1 autogun wound from one of my guys. He's like, it's all right, I failed it, I'll re-roll it. And he got another 1, and then it exploded.
Both screaming for about 2 minutes.
It did its best T-72 impression. Its turret went sky high, and then it came crashing down. It was able to do some mortal wounds to the other Leman Russ, which was then finished off again by the autogun fire, it being severely exposed due to all the crossfire shenanigans, and also doing a number of mortal wounds to some of the squads around here as well.
How far is the range of the demolitions cache?
Well, my explosion, 6 inches.
Oh, so would they be affected by the explosion?
They were over here before. They've moved out this turn.
No, I mean from him exploding then.
It was this one that exploded, and they were not in range of him.
Did you not throw the demolitions cache at them?
Oh, yeah, they would have been in range. You're right. Roll the dice. 1 dies. There you go.
A delayed death.
A delayed death. We then fired everything from this squad over here, and that was able to just annihilate that squad there. They were originally designated as a priority target by the Jackal Alphus, but then Tom used Cadia Stands, which we thought was really clever until they got absolutely fucking obliterated by, I think it was 19 flamer shots. It was something insane. Yeah. We didn't even have to roll the rest of the shots.
I quote, he did a Tom.
He did a Tom. Yeah, I rolled very well on my random number of shot weapons. And then the pit of patter of small arms fire opened up from various sources. We were able to delete the 10-man squad that was here. We were able to delete the squad down to just 2 lone heavy bolter crewmen. And then we were also able to do some significant damage back here and do 4 kills there. So in total, I believe we have killed 2 Lehman Russes and about 40 infantry, just under 40 infantry. So not too bad at all.
I thought it was 2 squads of infantry.
They got beansed. They got beansed. They got beansed. Yeah. And they got beansed. So that's 3 squads. And then, 34 to be precise. There we go. 34. There we go. But we do have some charges.
Yes. Some
charges now. So I'm a little exposed here. These guys don't actually really have a target to charge anymore. If they're in range of that thing, they'll give it a go. But if they're not, we won't worry about it. But we'll come over to these guys first. Okay. In fact,
I'm going to Overwatch then.
Well, I'm going to charge with them. I had originally deployed them so that you couldn't see them, but for some reason you can see them now, so I'm a bit upset. I'm a bit upset. I don't know what's happened there. Maybe it's because I deployed him then. He was in 6 inches. Who knows?
You'd need a
Well, that is my edge there. So that's a 12. I need 11. Okay. 11. All right, well, firstly, we're going to go with the Aberrant squad first. We're going to charge into here. You're going to Overwatch me, sir?
Yes.
Okay, so...
6 shorts.
6 shorts?
With the Vox.
It's not the Vox, it's with the Exterminator autocannon. 1 auto wound. Okay, let's put that to one side. And then the 9 heavy bolter shots. Three more. So I won't get a save against the autocannon shot, but that just becomes 1 damage. And then against the heavy bolters, I will get some saves. No, so I take 4 damage in total. I'll check how many wounds I've got. I think I've lost a guy. And then we'll do my charge distance, which should be enough there. They're pretty close. We'll then go for the Acolyte squad that is going to charge. We're going for the long-range Aberrant squad next, sorry. We're going to have to double, triple check that they might be able to make it in there. We'll just have a check. And then we'll go for the Acolyte squad, and which was going to go into... If the Aberrants... We're going to go for the Lemurus that the Aberrants have definitely contacted. Yes, they will make it in there. Excellent. So we'll have this squad and this squad going in here. Mm-hmm. We'll just check over here to see if I have some way of making them. I should be able to, because I should be able to get within engagement range, right?
Let's
double check. Let's double check. I've got. Let's do close. I want to get my Aberrants in, bro. I want to get my Aberrants in. Okay, gentlemen. That is very edge. Am I touching your vehicle there, sir? I feel like I might be touching it. Oh, I think it might be an 11.
For a CP it?
No. I'm just being jammy. I don't know. I don't know. It's so close. It's so close. I want it. But I think I have to concede that they failed. There we go. It's close, but no cigar.
They could taste it.
And then we're going to have these Acolytes, and they're going to charge into the infantry squad that's there.
Yep.
And they will get in with a 10 there. Very nice. So we'll move those guys in. Guys in. We shall do the combat off camera, because it's only going to be a few little bits here and there. We'll just be back with the end result of the choppy.
Yes.
With the skittering clatter of claws, the Acolytes butchered down many of these guards, with only 3 of them being left over. They valiantly tried to strike back with the bayonet fitted to the bottom of the heavy bolter, but it was a bit cumbersome, so they weren't able to do anything. They did manage to get a hit, but unfortunately no wounds were successful going through there. The new toughness 4 of the Acolytes proving a bit of a problem for the guard. We then moved over to the tanky over here, and surprisingly I killed it. Was not expecting it, but we did 6 wounds with
failed every save.
To be fair, you failed every single save. We did 6 wounds with the Aberrants, and then we did 2 wounds with the Bone Sword, and then we did another 4 wounds with the sword. So that's like 12 wounds. And then I had a couple of guys who just prison shivs. And I managed to get 1 6 to wound, which Tom rolled a big flat fucking 1. and then died, and then didn't explode, which was a bit of a shame. So could have at least taken some with me, with you, but sadly not. So that is the end of the Genestealer cult turn 2. A big turn there.
Big turn.
You had a big turn. I had a big turn.
Big turn.
Now the interesting thing is that we've done all the morales, and only one unit failed. They failed, and they took the least casualties. And they failed, and that's how many are left there now. So they've got 6 left in that squad. And then Tom proceeded to roll 4 1s. He rolled a 1 over here, so they didn't run away. He rolled a 1 over there, so they didn't run away. He rolled a 1 over there, so they didn't run away, which would have been really big because that's like a full squad there. And then he rolled a 1 here. They breed them tough. And you know what's interesting? It was mostly the non-Cadian units. It's the actual Mordian infantry squads that you rolled the 1s on, so that makes sense. That Iron discipline kicking in. Now, that was a big turn for the Genestealer cult. That was a long turn for the Genestealer cult. We had to do a lot of shenanigans there. But the Guard have been hit hard. Will they be able to hit back even harder? We'll be back with Guard turn 3. Naturally, upon spotting the enemy, I advance, sir. That's my style, sir. The Guard have continued to move forward. I like to think that no matter what happens at the end of this battle, considering you did do a very aggressive maneuver, even if you win, you have taken a lot of casualties. And I like to think that your after-action debriefing is definitely going to be like, Major Hogan's account reports rather different from yours, Sir Tom. He says at first you lost your head when you advanced with your panzers first. He said you then lost your nerve, destroying the objective, cutting off a rescue party led by Major Ugg.
To be fair as well, it was only now at turn 3 that I discovered that Guard don't have a full package shoot with their vehicles.
Yes, most officers would have checked that before they launched the aggressive Panzer wave, but not your style, is it, sir?
No, sir.
Not your style at all.
No, sir, not at all.
In all seriousness, Tom has remained. Do you want to fall back with your guy,
or be able to shoot it?
Is the plan is to mortar, free it up, shoot it?
No.
No? That would be a good plan.
Not right now.
Okay. Well, we'll come back to...
There's other plans, generations in the making, sir.
Wait, that's my thing. Oh my god, that's why he's done it. He's a Genestealer cultist. Oh my god, next time you can play them. It's popping off. So, in all sense, what's happened is the infantry that were hiding behind here have moved up with the command squad. Between them, they've got 11 models. They've got a flamer, trumpet. Yes, the trumpet is a flamer, guys. And then they've got the remainder of that squad and the heavy bolts. So between they've actually got... But, combine all these little scraps together. You've got a couple of squads you can leverage here. You can, a couple of guards and squads can take the fight to the enemy pretty reasonably. You've gone for take aim across the board, which is pretty nice. Mm-hmm. You've continued to consolidate your position in the centre. Major Ugg of the Ogren Heavy Foot has moved forward. He's going to try and beat the crap out of some of these goddamn rustics. And then you've also, again, consolidated a pretty nice little manoeuvre around here with your infantry. Again, 20 guardsmen supported by an officer. That is enough. Tom, you've seen me pull off some wacky shit against your Votan and Custodians, which does a couple of squads of guards with an officer. So you know this is where the backbone of the guard really is.
Weighted dice.
Well, with those toxic dice, bro, I'm excited to see what you can pull off. And don't forget, you still have your mortar pit, sir. Mm-hmm. And I have played my trick. The imp can only play his trick once. Yes. He's done it. So
I've advanced fully now.
That's why I've advanced. There's no point in holding back. It's time for a big old bonanza. That is Guard turn 3. They've taken a blow. If they can knock the Genestealer cult back in this turn 3, they might be able to secure victory. But they are going to need every man jack of them to take aim down that Lasgun site and do lots and lots of shooting. We'll be back going into Guard shooting phase turn 3. Incoming! The first unit of mortars are going to go blasting away. Now, there's 2 squads here. The left or the right one, sir?
The one furthest away from the Ugru.
The right one. Very good. You've chosen correctly. There we go. Nice. Now, go and fire your 18 shots because of blast. Oh, now you've spent a CP on ingrained precision, haven't you?
Yes.
Yes, but you are hitting on, and you have take aimed.
I have take aimed.
Very good. Okay, so we'll take out the 4s because they just hit regularly. And then you've got your 5s and 6s there. Excellent. Very good, very, very good. Roll those to wound. Very good. Yes, there's 2 wounds there. How many in total, sir?
That is 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, sir. 9 wounds.
9 words. 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Now I have passed a statistical number there, and I have lost 6. So 6 of my Neophytes have died. Would you like to continue with your bombardment?
Yes, the second more squad's going to try and
Second more squad is going to try again. Very good, very good. Yes. Ooh, now these do not have ingrained precision, but you have got lots of 6s anyway.
Anyway. Try to...
That is an obscene roll. You say my dice are weighted. That is grim. Okay, so yeah, how many there?
Is it freeze to win?
Yes, indeed, it is.
1 second.
Remember, 6 have died already.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, sir.
So the fact you did more wounds with the squad, this is just the first 8. With the squad that didn't have ingrained precision is quite amusing. Oh, God. 4 dead, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 dead. There are 6 left, sir. There are 6 left.
Hey. Then this heavy bolter there is going to fire into it as well.
Okay, now you will be going across dense there because of the way the casualties are going to get removed. So no hits.
No hits, sir.
My Genestealer dice tainting your...
It is tainting.
You do have a lasgun there as well. It has a lasgun and heavy bolter. Nope. I'm sorry, I gave you hope.
Oh dear.
Because he wouldn't have been in take aim range, just to let you know, because he was over here and the officers were back here and there's no vox caster there. So before anyone goes, take aim wouldn't have been a thing. Sorry, sadly.
Okay.
Big sad. Now, do you want a little think and I can remove some casualties and we're back in a second?
Yes.
All right. So after the initial mortar bombardment, there are 6 people left in that squad. Also the little tickle from the heavy blotter, the tracer fire. What else have we got going on here?
Well, so how many left in
There are
that squad?
6 left in that squad, sir. He's thinking.
So I'm going to spend the CP and shoot into those guys there.
Into this squad here?
Yes.
Oh, into those guys there?
Yes.
Okay, so you will have to get 2d6 shots, because one of them has died. It is 6.
Shots.
Yes, this is going to be a little tricky, I think, but we'll see if you can pull it off. You have got 2 auto wounds and a regular hit. You will need to roll to wound with that. Just 1, yeah, so just very good. 3, I will be on a 4th save because of my light cover there. 1 has died. Sadly, it's not quite gone the way you wanted it to. There we are.
Very good.
Do you know what you do? So that's all your mortars fired. He's played his mortars. Not a bad volley for the mortars. I think 15 casualties roughly in total. Not bad.
This squad over here is going to fire into them.
Shooting backwards.
Yes, go shoot.
Okay. Oh, all of your mortars get lasguns and they're all in rapid fire range. So you would actually have all the lasgun shots going over there. Do that first. So the first squad with ingrained precision on it would get 6 shots. No ingrained precision, but you would get the 3s to hit, sir.
Yeah, to take aim.
To take aim, yes. And then you're wounding on 4s. So that's 3 wounds. And you are AP -1 with take aim. So I lose 3 guys. There's 4 left in the squad.
Oh, nice that they have lasguns then.
Yeah. Well, the one guy's like loading and one guy's shooting the lasgun. Yes, that's all good. Ooh, that shows willing. Now I need to get at least 1 6 here, or they have they've died. They've gone. They're fully dead. So we'll remove those in a second.
Is that a Magus there?
It's not an actual Magus. It's a cult icon. It's a man with a stick with a thing on the end of the stick. So it's a cult icon.
Okay. That makes it a bit easier now that I know that they have lasguns. I was like,
Daddy Emperor Chan, save me.
So the squad in the centre then is going to fire into those 6 dudes over there then.
These 6 dudes here.
Yes. So.
Unfortunately, bolt action rules, you can't shoot through your own men. No,
no,
carry on. Okay, so heavy blotter.
Yes. And these have take aim on them as
well.
well.
2 hits because you miss with the 5, with the 3 even. No wounds, sadly.
No wounds.
You've got a plasma. That will be a singular plasma shot. There's no need to overcharge it. It does hit, auto wound, and kill 1. That was easy, wasn't it? Pew.
And then 2 lasguns?
Well, 1 on the weapon team and 1 on each guy. So 3 lasgun shots in total.
2 hits.
Dense, you're in the den, so you're okay. 3 hits.
3 hits.
Yes. And
so
then
3 wounds.
3 wounds, 3 6-ups. The lasgun's doing a serious amount of... Oh! If only they were 6s!
Popping off.
Actually, they're not 6s, and so they're all dead. There we are.
Every
still 2. I should say they're all dead. They're not. Just to know you don't get confused. There are 2 men left in the squad. The actual genuine icon bearer and a big green dildo man. I mean, mining laser. Carrying on.
Brilliant. So I'm going to put a Stormbolter into those guys.
So we'll get the tank on camera and we'll do the bits off camera. But do the tank first.
So Stormbolter into them, and the bolters into them, and then the main cannon into that squad there. Or do I go for the Aberants? I'll go for the Aberants. So
the Aberants will reduce your damage, and they've got 3 wounds each, so it would take 2 successful wounds through to kill each Aberrant, whereas the Bikers are 2 wounds each, but they are -1 to hit. So it's kind of 6 of one, half to another. It's just making you aware of the unit stats.
I'll go for
the Vorks.
Yeah, so the Stormbolter and the bolt cannons into these guys, and then the main battle cannon into the Aberrants.
And the laser cannon there as well. Nice, okie croaky.
So the 4 shots from the Stormbolter.
Where's it going?
Into these guys there.
It'll be 2 shots. Just
you got,
and you would be going across the den. So just say it's all right. You just got 1 auto wound.
It's all right. I got 1.
You got 1. Okay, 1 hit, 1 wound. Another. Wish it was 6. So it's this unit here, is it?
Yeah.
There's 1 left.
And there's 6 on the bolt guns, I'm guessing. 2 wounds.
Yes, indeed.
And then it'll be hitting on 5s, I'm guessing, because I'm going through the dents.
Yes, indeed. This all makes
3
sense.
wounds.
This all makes sense. He's dead as shit. There we go. That's good. They're not regenerating. Those ones are not regenerating.
And the main battle cannon is D6. Is it D6 plus 3? Or?
It is indeed. He's learning.
Is it?
It is blast.
Though,
it is gate. Oh, it's gatekeeper. So actually, it's 6 plus D3. So that's 8 shots.
Nice.
Tight.
Tight.
As the kids said probably last year, lit.
That tank has no riz.
Has no riz. It's ratchet.
And then
you will be shooting the Aberrants.
Yes.
Then you're hitting on 3s. 1 auto wound. And 2 other, because it's 5. So 3 wounds in total. AP -3. You kill 1 and damage another.
Okay. And then the laser. Misses. There we go. Simples.
1 has died. 1 has been damaged. Has a wound left. Okay, croaky. Right. Okay, the Dawn can shoot its cannon out of combat, but it will be at -1. You've got the Dawn, the Ripper guns. I tell you what, like I said, we'll do the rest off camera, but just so people know what will be going next, we do have the Dawn, the Ripper guns, and the platoon over there.
And
and the scraplets over here. So we'll be back once Tom has done all of that, and we'll see what happens once his dust has settled. And after the snap, crackle, and pop of lads guns has stopped firing, there were quite a lot of the Genestealers. Like I said at the beginning of the shooting phase, it always comes down to infantryman and his rifle. A couple of squads of guardsmen can and will take an objective. And that's exactly what Tom has done over here. He was able to successfully whittle down my Acolytes to just 2 guys, and also whittle down my Aberrants to just 1. So pretty good shooting over here. And most of the damage was done by taking lasguns. The plasmas and the melters failing when they were needed most, as is tradition. We then had a few more casualties come in against this squad here from various sources. And then the last thing to mention is all of the little bits of firepower over here, including the Flamer Trumpet, were able to do a little bit of woundage on this squad over here. I've taken I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 guys left. So I took 9 casualties. You got a really good burst of lasgun fire over there, didn't you? And that's what, again, always comes down to the infantryman's rifle. If it hadn't been for that burst of lasgun fire over there, I probably would have only took like 3 or 4 casualties, because the special weapons again sort of flubbed it. And likewise over here, if it hadn't been for the lasguns pulling it back, I probably would have had a significant amount of firepower. So, Born Soldiers, Exploding Sticks with lasguns. What more can you need? Okie croaky. So we're going over to the charge phase, and Major Ugg of the Mordian Heavy Foot, he only knows 1 order. And that is... oh, sorry. That is the sound of the Urukai charging into the Great of Helm's Deep. There we go.
What can they do?
That
5.
might be a failure with the old dense terrain.
I will CP it.
You're CP it, okay. That probably is
6.
okay. That's okay. It becomes 4 inches. I think you're going to make it in there. They've made it. They've only gone and bloody done it. So we'll move them in. We'll let them do their thing off camera because I think making people watch a bunch of Ogrins just mash up some Neophytes and make them feel a bit sick on camera. No, I'm joking.
I am going to charge the command squad into
Oh, he's charging the command squad. All right, go for it then.
I don't know whether it's... Meh.
Come on, guardsmen. Come on, you apes. Follow me to glory.
I don't even know what they're
Charge.
with.
He's got a power sword. He's only gone and bloody done it. Leading the way like a good old. He's got his little riding crop in hand. He's ready to take the fight to the Acolytes that are in that building. Excellent, man. That's actually a really bad move for me because it's probably going to take me off the objective and everything.
You're going to say that's a really bad move for you.
No. But that's actually not only cinematic but also very good. You've got the bugle. Spit, boy, spit. Zulu reference there.
You have COVID, man.
Bloody hell. We're not fighting Nurgle today. It's okay. So we'll move those guys in. We'll do the combat off camera, and we shall be back in a moment. Rather unsurprisingly, Major Ugg of the Mordian Heavy Foot went in there and absolutely smashed the shit out of those Neophytes. It wasn't even close, guys. Tom was actually like, I'm surprised how good these guys are in combat and in shooting. And I was like, well, the thing is, their damage output is fantastic. They just got a 5 armor save, so they just die like shit when anyone actually decides to target them. But they are actually pretty good on the offensive, not on the defensive. But Major Ugg has done a fantastic job. They're picking up 20 of the little uns and using a motherfucker to beat a motherfucker with. So now, in terms of other combat capabilities, like any good officer, the platoon commander charged in. He waved his sword around, did fuck all. And then got the remaining infantry under his command killed. So
that's my style, sir.
That's my style, sir. Major Ugg's report reads rather differently. It starts off going...
That is sharp as he's chosen, man.
That's sharp and it's...
That's what he's called dull when he's chosen, man.
Yeah, it's Major Sharp, but ironically. And then we did a little bit of a little take back. Tom was like, oh, could I charge in over here? And he was like, oh, I don't really want to. And I went, dude... just do it for the coolness, because that is Sergeant Gank Istani, channel member and high meme lord of terror himself. And I was like, Gank would definitely go for the meme charge against the Acolytes. And I always say this, guys, do not underestimate guard combat, and the dice gods always reward a good bayonet charge. And it always comes down to, it's not the officers that you need to be charging with, it's your good old infantry squad, the grizzled NCO leading the way. And Gank went in there, revved up his chainsword and cut down the 2 Acolytes, spraying alien ichor all over the place. Ugh, I got that nasty shit in my mouth. That's what happened. That's actually a Battlefield... brilliant, top tier content. That's actually a Battlefield Los Angeles reference. Let me know if you, down in the comments section, if you know which scene I'm talking about and the line that the fellow soldiers say to her after that particular innuendo. Anyway, moving on. So that was a pretty good charge phase. But it's a pretty fantastic turn from the guard. I think that turn could have pulled them back into the game. Like, really pulled them ahead. Because I can use this little platoon of my own guys around here to maybe finish off the scrapplets, get into a little bit of platoon on platoon action. But I don't fancy my odds getting into... My guys aren't real soldiers. And I don't really fancy their odds going in here. But we'll see if they can do it. They do have Jackal Alphus supporting them. But there's a tank supporting those infantry. The Rogel Dawn will be fully operational next turn. I don't think there's anything I can do to stop that. And over here, I might be able to wrap up the scraplets of infantry here, but this centre of the board and this relentless mortar pit, I think, might allow the guard to win out. But we'll see. It's only turn 3. If the Genestealer cult can pick up all the scraplets, and if the Patriarch can just go fucking ham on Major Ugg and the Ugg Patrol, then I think we might have a chance. But... we'll have to see. Firstly, we'll have to go to the cult turn 3 now, and we'll do it on camera. I will resurrect 2d6 guys back into the Neophyte squad. 6 from the cult icon, 6 from the Acolyte Iconward. Of course, I can only get a maximum of 6 back in total, and I get 5 back. So there we go. 5 men back into the squad. We'll bring those in, and then we'll do the rest of the Genestealer cult turn, and we're back in just a moment.
Before just point out that I scored...
Oh, yes.
4 for inflexible command, or 5
yes,
for inflexible command?
3 for flexible command, because unfortunately this man is caused you a few problems. He caused you lost 2 points.
2 for boots on the ground, and 1 more for banners. 2 for the mission tertiary objective, and 8 for the primary objective.
So you are currently sitting on 12, 16 primary, and you are currently sitting on 11 inflexible, 15 with boots, and 17 for banners. So you're looking at 16 plus 17 points for your score. Turn 3, 15 primary. 15 primary, 16 primary, 17 secondary. Going into my turn, I will be on 2 objectives. So I will be, or what will I be on? 12 for the.
You'll be on
no, I'll be on 16 as well because I held. Yep. Yeah, I'll be on 12 for my primary Genestealer cult turn 3, and I'm not doing very well on my secondaries, so we'll have to see. I really want to do Warp Ritual. The only problem is that I kind of need to beat the shit out of those Ogrins. So we'll have to see. We'll be back. Genestealer cult turn 3. Summary of Genestealer cult turn 3 movement and command phase. We brought back these guys here, and they have now got many men on the objective board. All the Stubbers back, and 1 extra man. I think I have to put 1 extra dude in there. Tom, can you just put a single rifleman in that squad, please? And that's going to put him on the objective. Yeah, very good. And then I moved and advanced the Patriarch, because he can move and advance and do whatever the hell he likes. And he did Psychic Warp Ritual in the middle of the board, which means I've got some victory points there now. He's then going to go and charge and beat the shit out of those Ogrins. The little buggy came flying over here. It's going to try and shoot up some Ogrins and some infantry, and then probably charge in and try and absorb the Overwatch from the Ogrins. And then, yes, we just simply moved over this way. We didn't advance per se, but we advanced in the literal meaning of we moved forward, taking the fight to the enemy. And we're going to try and dagger the shit out of these 2 squads. I used the Jackal Alphus to expose this unit here. The plan is that we're going to shoot them with all of the flamers and the stubbers and the other little bits. And then we'll shoot all the other guns that we've got going into this squad down here, or something like that. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, hopefully we'll clear both of those units up. Now, I do have my Aberrant here, and I have my Aberrants here. And the plan is that I am going to try and use the Aberrants that the tank commander can't see to charge first and tag the tank, and then send the other Aberrant that he can see but then can't overwatch in, and then I'll have 3 Aberrants bonking that tank commander and making him feel very silly about himself. So there we go. That's my movement. We then are going to go for the cheeky little bit of Psychic, which we've already done, and I did Warp Ritual in the middle, got the points, that's good. And that is my movement. We'll do a summary of my Shusting, and we'll be back with the Patriarch going into combat, because we want to see how many Ogrins he can turn into mincemeat. So we're back in just a moment. Summary of the Genestealer cult shooting and charge phase. We've not done the fight phase yet. In the shooting, as expected, the Neophytes over here were able to polish off the remaining line infantry of the Imperial Guard there, leaving just the classic Cadian commander who ate all of the pies out there with his shotgun. It's not a shotgun this time, I'm actually using it as a bolter, but sadly, when he was built, he was allowed to take shotguns, and you can't take shotguns anymore. It's pretty sad, isn't it? You should take shotguns. Anyway, after they shot over there, they then absolutely mobbed the command squad. You know, classically, again, the officer has led his men into danger, got everyone killed, and then now found himself surrounded. Amazing. The Acolyte Iconward charged in there and supported them, and the Primus, you might be able to see him. He's in there. He's in there. That little spot of colour in the complete shadow. That is very Genestealer cult that he's hiding in there. He charged Rogal Dawn and tied it up, which was pretty good for me. The Patriarch naturally did the psychic phase, got the points, and then he got then the buggy charged him first, and then the Patriarch actually got a pretty good charge. So he's come back around the side. My intention is to activate him first, use combat rule shenanigans to like move there, and then technically in, so he's like basing there, and hopefully that might protect him from some of the other firepower that's going on around here, but we shall have to see. And then over here, the Aberrants, the first unit charged in, got the charge that allowed the lone man to charge in without fear of Overwatch. I'm not sure how much damage they're going to do realistically, guys. There's mostly Aberrant hypermorphs in there, and they don't really have good guns for beating up tanks, but we'll have to see. And then over here, we shot the crap out of both of these squads. The sniper lady exposed the unit here, And then she shot the unit here, which put a crossfire token on them. And that allowed me to flame the crap out of them, which there was only one of them left. And then I had a little bit of a cool dice with the stub weapons and the seismic cannons. A lot of people go on about seismic cannons. I didn't find them to be overly impressive. Not worth the 10 points over the stubbers. The 2 stubbers did about as good as the 2 seismic cannons I found in this scenario. But we were able to whittle them down to 3 people. Tom has declared that he is going to spend 2 CP to keep those 3 guys around. He's not used his auto pass yet. That is 3 lasguns, that's 6 shots. Planets have been conquered with less. So we'll have to see if that pays off. But I think that's actually a pretty smart move because it allows him to do damage. He's still got some obsec on his flank. You know, those 3 guys have been supported by some mortars and a senior officer might just be what he needs to pull this objective back onto his flank. And that is everything. So we'll go to the fight phase. Now, what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to get the Patriarch on camera, and we'll do everything else off camera, and then we'll probably do a summary turn 4 and 5 because it's we're both getting down to the wire here in terms of assets. So we're back in just a moment, and we'll see how this Patriarch does in combat. So you know how I was taking the piss out of Tom, that he should have checked his rules before he did his big panzer charge? I probably should have checked my rules before I did the Patriarch. Because in the last codex, he would have picked up these 6 Ogrin without breaking a sweat. He's fucking terrible now. He's strength user. What the hell? His attacks are only damage 2. He used to be like, he used to be unbelievably better. So guys, I think the Patriarch might be getting turned into bug food, but he, you know, what can you do, boys? What can you do? All right, we're going to go with him first. He hits on 2s with 4 rerolls. At least my Warlord trait seems to have had some effect. So he's hit with everything. Now, he used to be strength times 2, so he used to wound on 2s in this scenario. Now he's wounding on fucking 4s. Oh, great! He's done 2 damage. Oh, wait, no. He has killed 1 because that becomes AP 6, 3 damage, and that finished the last one off. I've killed an Ogrin. My 100 and... okay, so he's killed 1 and done 2 damage to another. Great. Do you want to interrupt? No. All right, the buggy's going to try and run you over now. I'm going to just assume it has 3 attacks. It has got a hit.
It's got a hit.
It hasn't got a wound. Okay. That's sad. So that's the 5 over there. So go on, Tom. Do your attacks on cameras. We'll show them what they're
how many attacks do these Ogrin have?
Like a lot. 21?
5 attacks, 21. 21?
Oh my god. They're just going to beat the snot out of him, man.
Right.
21 attacks. And you're hitting on 3s and you're wounding on at least 4s. Hopefully my natural reflexes will pay off here. Now it's at least 4s. I think I'm towards 5, but I remember he used to be slightly tougher than the old Warlord, but this is back in the day, right? So put your 4, get those out. He might live. And
then if it is freeze, you are...
I'm dead as shit, but yeah. Shall we? I'll tell you what, Tom, why don't we do it live? Get that codex down there. Yes. Go down there. Open it up. Nearer to the back. There's not that many data sheets. Oh, we're almost there. Keep going. Oh, stop. So he is sometimes 5, so it's forced to wound. And I will get my 4+ reflexes. Yes, okay. So it is a total of 6 wounds. And he has 6 wounds. So I only need to pass 1. I've got CP. Okay, so he's done all right.
You passed all well.
I need to re-roll that one. It wasn't in the tray. Not in the tray. That's the rules, boys. Okay, so does that still count? So he's taken 2 wounds. All right. So it was a bit of a noodle, wasn't it? There, which is a bit interesting. I actually thought I was going to get filled in. I think you thought you were going to get filled in. Yeah. Interesting. All right, so we'll do the rest of the combat off camera. Like I said, we're a bunch of Neophytes wailing on some command squads over there, and it's going to be some Aberants with not anti-tank weapons trying to beat up a tank over there. So we're back at the end of the Genestealer cult, turn number 3, and then we'll go into some summary turns 4 and 5. The rest of the combat was actually kind of similar, a bit of a wet noodle fight. So I ended up going in with the Neophytes, pretty confident that my 17 attacks were going to beat the shit out of them, and I didn't really do very much. Tom made a load of 5 but feel no pains on his officer. He was like tanking all of it on the officer. And it actually came down to the fact that the 2 remaining Acolytes had to finish the officer off, but not before he had a chance to swing and kill a couple of Neophytes. And the rest of the command squad stuck around. So good job tanking the damage on the officer there, and it's not like you need him because you've got the senior officer running around over here. The Primus that's in that corner there didn't do anything to him. The Aberants did nothing.
Nada.
Yeah, they did a lot of wounds, but Tom, it's all because it's a hypermorphs. It's all like AP1, and Tom's like, it's a 3-up save, and then I don't do anything. And then over here, the one remaining guy that was here, we just picked him up because he just got buried under a load of neophyte attacks, and I consolidated onto the objective. So that is that. In terms of points, I got 8 prime at the beginning of my turn. I got 2 for ambush because I killed a unit with a crossfire marker. I did kill a unit that was exposed as well. But sadly, it doesn't count because it was an exposed marker done by the Jackal Alphus. So there's only 2 points there. Yep. But I did manage to get 3 points for Brood Swarm. I have more models on the board than you. I have more models in No Man's Land than you. And I have more models in my deployment zone than you. So that's, at least I got that going for me. Mm-hmm. But we're going to go over to the guard turn 4 now. We're going to do a summary guard turn. Because a lot of their assets are tied up, so realistically we're looking at the mortars and do the Ogrins blow the Patriarch away in shooting, because they can shoot into combat, point blank volley. So we'll be back at the end of guard turn 4. Going into that turn, they will get 8 points of primary, and we'll be back once we see what else they're able to do in their penultimate turn.
Yes.
End of guard turn 4, surprisingly quick considering both of your Leman Russes were tied up in combat. There was nothing you could do, sir. Your main firepower was withheld from you. But the mortar pit was still under your command. I still have my mortars. He's desperately clinging to his mortar in direct fire. And he did a fantastic job. He bombarded the shit out of the Neophytes. There was only 5 of them left after the las gunners. Even the bolt pistol from the officer managed to decapitate one. And the mortars went in. He then charged in. But Tom had forgotten. I had 4 flamers in that squad. The 3 las gunners, bayonets fixed, were immolated in green fire. The officer then charged in. He beheaded 1. I did no damage back to him. It then came down to morale. There were 4 left on the objective. I failed my morale. There were 3 left on the objective. I rolled a 1, a 2. That meant there were 2 gone. There was only 1 dice left. And I rolled a 5, meaning that the objective was held, sir. It was held by my OBSEC banner man. And then off camera, I got a little bit excited. I went, I'm going to summon the cult back at the beginning of my turn. And I got the big 6. And because I am Hive, all you people that said Hivecult was dog shit, I know you've done it in the comment section already. Fall back and shoot. Oh, but it's -1 to hit. 4 flamers, bitch. This one very specific example has cemented Hivecult in my mind for all eternity. So they're going to fall back and they are going to cut down this oppressor. You are the fash and I shall bash you. So that was basically your whole turn.
Yeah.
Really. It was a good turn. Fair turn. But it was, unfortunately, that one guy sticking around meant that you did not get to wipe me off the objective, which means I will be starting on 3 objectives at the beginning of my turn, sir. 12 victory points, sir, which is pretty big because you absolutely mincemeated my Patriarch. You just blew him away in shooting. There's nothing I could do about it. Point blank volley is actually really good. And then you only did 1 wound to the Ridgerunner. So it's like, weirdly, the Ridgerunner is better in combat than the Patriarch. At least he's tougher anyway. So that was a bit sad. But that was quite important, him living, because it meant that the Ogrins couldn't come and nick my objective off me, which is pretty nice. So that was your turn. Mm-hmm. We're going to have a summary Genestealer cult turn. I think it's going to be pretty quick. I'm going to kill the officer, try and eat these infantry, and eat these infantry, and then that'll be that.
Yep.
So we're back in a moment. I'll tell you what, we'll do the summon the cult over here.
Yes.
2d6. That's the full 6 back over here as well. It's paying off!
It's popping off.
It's popping off. The late game. My flag is bigger than your flag. It's flag wars. All right, we'll put those guys back into that squad, and we shall continue the relentless advance of the Genestealer cult. Just to let the enemy, the viewers know, you almost maxed and flexible. You will guarantee max and flexible by the end of the game. But Boots, you actually scored no points on because sadly you have no platoon infantry over here, and these guys are holding the objective in the middle. They are too close to the centre to get you a Boots point, so you didn't get any there. But I can't, in terms of how it's looking going into my turn, I can't get any more Warp Ritual Tom can still tick up on banner points. He can still tick up on boots. He can still at least get 1 or 2 boots points left. So therefore, he's going to beat me on secondaries. It will come down to if I can do anything with my primaries. We'll have to see. So we'll be back at the end of Genestealer Cult turn number 4. And then we'll wrap up turn number 5. And then we'll find out who the victor is. Turn 4 for the Genestealer Cult. It was a big one. So over here, the Neophytes and the Jackal Alphus killed the single officer there. The Jackal Alphus gave it a go, but she missed. Then all of the Neophytes came in there and just burned him to a crisp. Very nice. The Aberrants charged in. Tom tried to use Overwatch, but unfortunately, I actually managed to save both of the wounds, which is pretty nice for a change. I actually made a bloody save. We then went in and killed 2 Guardsmen. And in return, the Guardsman punched us in the face and did nothing. So that was a bit of a wet noodle fight. But I have managed to tag the Lehman Russ up there. Despite the fact Tom's best efforts, the Primus stayed in the corner here. He got an 8-inch charge, which is what he needed, and he's tagged the Rogal Dawn again. No one's done any damage to each other there, but I'm not looking to do damage. I'm looking to just tie Tom up. Over here, this was kind of important. So my bikers swapped places with the buggy. He's now holding the objective, and the bikers came out here, and they did loads of shots, and from between the shotguns and the grenade launcher and everything, did loads of shots into the Ogrins, which got crossfire onto them. I then put all of my grenade launchers and my stubbers, all of that special firepower into the Ogrins, and then I did my few pistol shots here into the Ogrins, which whittled them down strongly. There was only 2 of them left. And there's one left on 2 wounds, and I charged in with the Acolytes and the Acolyte Iconward, all of the Acolytes, and we were able to cut him down before he had a chance to even react. Crazy to me how a bunch of fucking Neophytes with AK-47s and a couple of Clory boys were able to kill the Ogrins way easier than the Patriarch. He's such a disappointment. I now totally understand people don't take him. Such a shame because he's a cool model. And then over here, all of my auto guns finished off what was left of the command squad because it was just 4 veterans, so they got gunned down between all of the exploding 6s from the Primus and the reroll 1s. They got cut down, and that was the end of my turn. Very quick turn. Like I said, it's really coming down to scraplets at this point between us, like tying each other up. Beginning of my turn, I did get 12 victory points for the primary, which is pretty big. In terms of secondaries, I did kill a unit whilst it was all exposed and everything because of crossfire, because of the Ogrins. So that is 1 point for for ambush, 1 point for ambush there. And then I also got a point. I think that's the ambush point. Just 2 points for ambush there. And then because I didn't kill you from coming in from reserve or anything like that, and I didn't kill you from being exposed. So yeah, just 2 points for killing something with crossfire. And then for Brood Swarm, I've got more models in my deployment zone, more models on the board than you, and more models in No Man's Land than you, for a total of 3 more points on Brood Swarm. And then obviously Warp Ritual is gone. It's gone. It's not coming back. It's never coming back. And because I didn't kill these guys, 2 Aberrants didn't. So terrible. 2 Aberrants didn't do anything to the Guardsmen. Basically, missed out on the tertiary. So we're gonna go to turn 5 now. We'll do it's gonna be a quick turn. Basically, what can Tom mortar? That's gonna be Tom's mortar extravaganza will continue. We'll see what he does there. We'll see what I can do in terms of wrapping any final points up. And we'll probably be back with you at the very end of turn 5, at the end of the game, with the final score and the final thoughts. All right, we'll be back in just a moment. So, summary turn number 5. It was very, very quick. End of turn 5 and end of the game. The Lehman Russ in combat put its heavy bolter, its last cannon, its storm bolter into the 2-wound aberrant that was here and killed him. And the infantry squad had fallen back onto the objective, which meant that the battle cannon could see the other lone exposed aberrant because there were 2 squads of 1 man each, and Gatekeeper handily showed him the door. Tom's shaking his head with cringe. And then Tom moved all his mortars out so he could get a few more boots on the ground point, not making the same mistake again. And he fired all of his mortars into my chaps over here. And that meant that he was, even with a bit of dense, and the fact they were firing indirectly with take aim, they were able to pick up the 7 guys, that 6-7 guys that were there, and that did mean that he cleared me off that objective, almost cleared me off that objective. But he got what he was really doing is he was going for an extra inflexible command point, which allowed him to max out inflexible command. And that was really it. Oh, and the Rogal Dawn just stayed in combat with the Primus and just beat the shit out of him. Just shot him with the Castigator and all Stubbers and everything, and he fell over and he died. So that was the Imperial Guard turn 5. Going over to the Genestealer Cult 5, mine was very quick. Basically, the bikers zipped forward onto the objective, which allowed me to hold it, gaining me 2 victory points because I finally held the middle objective. Nice. And I killed all of the OBSEC infantry that were on there with my infantry. Remember, if you go second, you get to score at the end of the turn. If I had not been able to do that, I wouldn't have been able to get those 2 extra points there. And the Jackal Alphus literally stayed there, wiggling her bum at the Lehman Russ because she was getting me some more victory points there. This meant that I was able to get 12 points on the primary because I held 4 objectives. And it meant that I still got 3 points for Brood Swarm because I have more models on the board than my opponent. And I got a point for having more in No Man's Land and a point for having more in my deployment zone. Should say my 3 Acolytes got a well-deserved rest back there. They just moved in advance onto that objective just to hold it, just in case, because they didn't really have anything else better to do. And that was the end of the game.
Yes.
And the final scores were extremely close.
Yes.
It was very, very close. No one got smashed. No one got smashed. So the Genestealer Cult ended up with 38 primary, I should say. 38 primary, 27 secondary, 10 for painting, which put us on 75 points. And the Imperial Guard, the Emperor's Finest, came in with 36 on primary. Interestingly, they were ahead all game, but those 2 turns where I was able to get 2 objectives meant that I was able to get ahead slightly there. And they got 26 on their secondary. Unfortunately, boots and banners being difficult choices for them, which meant they had a total of 72 points with painting, meaning that it was 72 to the Guard and it was 75 to the Genestealer Cult. Very good game. So I'm going to give it a weird left-handed shake.
Even when you're being stupid, you can still do well with the Guard.
Did you max the flexible command? You start the game with 15 victory points. So we'll be back in just a minute with some final thoughts. So, final thoughts. The game ended in a draw. In case any of you are wondering why you're thinking it's ending in a draw, me and Tom always play WTC scoring, which means that in order to get a victory, you must have at least 5 extra victory points over opponents. So it was actually, and we've done that on pretty much all of our battle reports, guys. So it was a draw. The Guard and the Genestealer Cult fought each other to a bloody standstill. And by the end of the game, it was the triumphant Genestealer Cult infantry that managed to pull it back. Those regrowing Neophytes, dude, that was so clutch. And I think the Imperial Guard, your tanks did a lot of work for you when they were allowed to shoot.
Yes.
But between me blowing them up and tagging them, they had a bit of a tough game.
This game, it just goes to show, is like me and you both made mistakes, like on a few occasions with the armies, obviously.
Yeah.
Learning Guard, you're
Patriarch's good in combat, right?
Picking up Genestealer Cults again. So I automatically just thought, Guard must have like a stratagem to fall back and shoot with tanks. So I was like, I'll just throw them up. But now I understand why you're like screen them.
I was like, Tom, what are you doing? Yeah. Daddy's gone mad.
But you know what? It was just fun. I just tried to see whether I could wipe out enough of Tim's stuff to basically steamroll the game. But that's,
Morses did very well again. Men of the match, clearly. Commissar Mortar Pit all the way. For me, I feel what really stood out, my final thought is when you had the firepower to delete a 20-man neophyte blog, they felt like as bad as Guardsmen in terms of like how easily they died. Even when you left 1 or 2 of them alive, they regrew. This squad went down to like 9 or 10 people at one point. End of the game, it was basically back to full health.
That squad over there was down to 1 man.
Down to 1 man, came back up to 6, went back up to 7. So if I was to adjust this list slightly, I would definitely be like, Patriarch's gone. He's dead in my eyes. I'd sack off the Patriarch. I'm not sure if I'd bother with many of some of the common units are okay, but the Aberants, they don't really work in this list, and I don't really have the characters to support them. So I honestly think I'd probably sack off Aberants and Patriarch, put in maybe like a Primus just for some of that psychic shenanigans, and then just go for more Neophytes with more guns.
Yeah.
That would be my whole vibe. I think that would work pretty good.
12 Neophytes with 20-man Neophyte blobs.
Has science gone too far? I think for your list, Tom, and you sort of said...
I was just having fun, mate, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, but you said this at the beginning of the game. You were like, I feel like it's a bit like an infantry.
Yeah.
And I think two things could have allowed you to snatch victory from the jaws of draw, which is if you drop maybe one tank or swap the Rogel out for a regular Russ and then use the points differential to get yourself an extra 10 infantry.
I'm not advanced all my infantry up the board immediately.
Or your tanks.
All my tanks.
Your infantry were doing fine. Your infantry is what allowed you to fucking pull a draw out of a pretty gnarly situation. Likewise for me. Always comes down, no matter what army, always comes down to the infantryman and his rifle.
There he goes. On his little
soapbox. On a little soapbox.
Always comes down to the infantryman and his bayonets.
You mock, good sir, kind sir, but it was the infantry fire support that you love so much. And you even said to me, off camera, guys, he committed the cardinal sin. He went, I'm not that bothered about Imperial Guard tanks.
It's not my. I like infantry.
I think we get you some. We get some field arms batteries in this bitch, and we let you run a list of 3 field arms batteries, 3 mortars,
and some rough riders, and then I'm all the way there.
And then you're all the way there, and then 120 infantry, 30 rough riders.
Like a female tank or male tank or something, just one, and then that's
like some old school, yeah, because your exterminators are like your female tanks, and your regular Russes are like your male tanks, which is kind of cool. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed today's battle report. We had a ton of fun. Like I said, at many points, it felt like I was having to, like a Genestealer cultist, use all my improvised weapons and tricks to pull out anything against the might of the Imperial armored line. It was honestly a really, really fun game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure you smash that like button like Tom smashed his tanks into my front lines, and also subscribe to see more of this crazy content. If you really enjoyed today's video and you want to see more content like this, then please consider going the extra mile and supporting the channel by becoming a member or Patreon supporter. To all of you guys that have become channel members and Patreon supporters, thank you for doing your part. All right, boys, appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, we'll see you guys next time.